We found another Google Sheet in the wild. So Josh Nussbaum, who I have met and is a wonderful open source developer. He's the maintainer of Svelte Stripe. He also tweets about Svelte and open source software. He has created a qualitative, not quantitative, but qualitative data set of H1 subheads and call to actions from many websites. And when I saw this, I was like, it's one, a Google Sheet, and two, it's free. But three, it's missing a lot of cool stuff that I think we can add to it. So if you are watching this video on Better Sheets, I'm not going to give you the link to the sheet. I will give you a link to this tweet so you can get it yourself. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then down below is a link to this tweet. And also, we'll check out Josh's Podia site. I'll also put a link down there for you to see that. But yeah, go grab this sheet if you want to see what he's done. And maybe I will give him what we do here. And so, hi, Josh. And we'll then, hopefully we'll see it in action if we do see it eventually. But I want to make this sheet better. Here's the sheet itself. Let's take a file, make a copy, and close the first one. And what we're going to do here is, first off, I want to make this as Joshy as possible. We're going to get into a little bit of analysis. I want to do some analysis of the H1 subheads, primary call to actions. We want to find like the most common ones, how long they are, how many characters they are, all that kind of stuff. We'll do a bit of that. But first, the very first thing I want to do is I want this to scream, hey, I'm Josh Nussbaum. This is what I do. So what I typically do, and which is very weird, is I will add a row under the frozen one. Why is that? Is because normally if you look at sort of freebies in Sheets, they will add above the freeze line this big banner and they'll say, hey, I'm Josh and here's my Podia site. Here you can buy stuff from me. But I'm going to put it right here because when we're using this, I don't want to have to delete that right away. I want to be able to scroll down and see some cool stuff and it scrolls away. But I want to be able to see it. So let's see what we are working with. Let's look at Josh's site. His Podia site's here, joshuanussbaum.podia.com. He's building SaaS kit with Svelte. He's building dashboards, database apps, and I think he maintains Stripe integration. So loves purple so far. That's what I see here, just purple, but two shades of purple. I want to get this shade of purple and this shade of purple, and we use HTML, get color from image. I'll just Google that. It's always going to be, I think, the first one. We're just going to upload the image and get the colors. Okay, we got that color. We're going to add it in custom right here. That's a nice purple. And then we also have this hex code for the button we want to use, or any buttons or any call to actions. We'll use that. This is going to be strange. I'm going to add 3 rows and you'll see why soon. But we're going to create a little button here that looks like this. And we're going to say copy so that if somebody accesses this sheet, we want them to be able to copy this URL. I'm going to call this one better, but what I would suggest to Josh is use the URL of your own Google Sheet, right? And what we're going to do is create equals hyperlink, and we're going to use the URL, but we're going to add /copy at the end. And actually, we're going to use template. Actually, I'm not going to use copy for this one. I'm going to use template preview for this one. And I'm going to say copy to copy sheet. I want to add a little emoji here. Maybe, I don't know if there's a copy. This arrow does well. We're going to have to center it. It's going to be super boring for a moment. Add some white text. We're going to default to quicksand for this one. We'll do 15 font. Copy sheet. Why did I put 2 more rows here? I'm going to select both those rows. I'm going to resize them to about 20. And then I'm going to do something magical. I'm going to move this actually over to, let's go over here. Copy sheet. Paste that. And I'm going to, one more column there. G and I, I'm going to resize as well to 20. Same as over here, and I'm going to make this a really cool button. I'm going to merge these 4 cells, and then I'm going to add another shadow, a darker purple. I'm going to select this purple, but make it a shade darker. Customize it, shade darker. There we go. And now, if we view, show grid lines, we have this big old button there. Nice. Don't have to have it so big, but hey, created by Josh. Check out my Podia here. And I would add a link up here. But here's the thing too. This is probably not enough, and we might want to add a little image here of Josh. We're going to use I'm going to just say copy link address, I think. think it's going to be just that, but we need copy image address. That's what we need, that profile image. We're going to do equals image URL, and then now there's been a change. We have to actually allow access. So we allow access in there. there's Josh. Hi. And if this was his actual photo, we would, I don't know, not nicer, but it would just be different. Where's the hand waving? There it is. Hi, I'm Josh. I run, so we can just use his, I'm the maintainer of Svelte Stripe. There we go. Let's make this really nice though. Let's use quicksand. Let's use white for now. Bold, make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to actually move that primary CTA. Check out my Podia here, and we're going to merge these cells. So, hi, I'm Josh, maintainer of Svelte Stripe. Check out the data we have. I provided, rounded up from top sites. There you go. And Josh, you can write anything you want here. I think a nice little blurb here would be really nice, saying, hey, you know, this is why I made this. I would also put data, and I would take this all, let's just copy it. Let's add a new one here, new page. And what I would do is I would add more information on this page. Let's just delete all this stuff. This can be just a few rows, just a few columns. It can be pretty big if we want to. We can also view without the grid lines as well. And here I think, Josh, you can put a lot of information, and you say about. Say, you know, I would put instructions here if you're like, hey, this is how you can use this yourself. Here's the data I found. I think, Josh, you mentioned in another tweet, you found some actual lessons learned from this beyond what we're going to do here. But I think having an about page is perfect. And here's something that is super foreign to a lot of people who are creating sheets and giving them away for free is just expect it to be shared. Like, we want the sheets that we make to be so useful that people want to share them. So don't think about, like, there is protections you can do. You can always get only sheets, which allows only the people who buy a sheet access to the sheet, which I made. Only sheets. And there are protections, but when we're giving away a sheet for free, just expect that it will be shared. The person getting it is not going to know who made it. And so adding this kind of information is super useful to make sure that when it is shared, because it is so goddamn useful, right? So amazingly useful that people are sharing it, friends of friends and friends, that now you still get that information back, right? They still know it's you. You put your email address, but how to contact you, how to sign up for your Podia, what you're building. I would add way more about what you're building, how you're building it, your open source software, why it's useful, all that stuff on the about page, and this is something that is super unique to people who are making Google Sheets for the first time too. Some way to keep getting information from you. What I do is I set up a Gumroad page. So something like Big Year, which I set up for free, but it's Gumroad Big Year. There it is. It's on my own Gumroad, and you have to put in your email address and a price here, but you can do $0. It's a freebie. But what I do is I will keep people informed. So when they buy the 2024 one, they'll probably get the 2025 one for free or notified of it, right? I'll probably create a brand new one in November or December of 2024 for 2025. And so I want to be able to get the people who got it before, get it again. So setting up a Gumroad page is super useful for this. Gumroad is technically free. You do have to give, I think, 10% of any money you earn, but you can give away free products. You can give away cheap products. You can make all your products $1, $2, something in order to capture that email address. And of course, Josh, you're a programmer as well. You probably know that you can also just implement this kind of some JavaScript action where you can take in a form field, take in an email address, and then email them the sheet link, possibly, right? If you do want to give it away for free and you don't want to take email addresses, it's okay. I would still, no matter what, consider adding all of your information about what you do, how you do it into the sheet itself. There's one more place where it's really unique. If you have some scripts or something, put in extensions, app script, especially if you're a programmer and you're trying to sell to other programmers, add in here, yes, in app script, a note. And how you can do that is just go up to the top. It is slash, actually I think wrong slash, there. And what are these stars? Oh my God. This creates a multi-line comment that you can add, hi, I'm Josh, I made this sheet. Again, I'm Andrew, I'm from Better Sheets, I didn't make the sheet. Josh made it. You're catching this late. If you're 10 minutes into this video and you're like, who's this Josh guy? I'm not Josh. Josh made the sheet. I'm Andrew, I run BetterSheets.co, where I give tips, tools. I give tips and tricks to make your Google Sheets better. I also build tools and templates myself. And so, yeah, I think this has been a long-winded way to say, like, add your information inside your sheet, put it in an about page, put it in the data, put it in an untitled project in the app script. Yes. If you're selling to developers, this is a great way to communicate with them. To be like, hey, you discovered this little thing. Hi, this is what I'm doing. All right, let's get to some analysis, because I think we can do some really cool stuff here. And we can even add it. We can actually, I think, add a row above here and add this data here. So what do we need? Let's add some more data here. I'm going to add it far to the right. I'm going to do CTA. length, second CTA length. And all I'm doing here is equals len and putting in length here. But we're going to get 0 for when there's none. Doesn't mean that it's actually 0 characters, it means that there's none. So I'm going to wrap this with if is blank, E6. And now, if it is not blank, it'll have a number. And if it is blank, it won't have a number. It won't be 0. I mean, it's still technically 0, but what the cool thing here is that it's gonna just be blank instead of an actual number 0, which is important. Okay, let's do that as well for the secondary. So now we have length of call to action. We have some pretty big ones. We have some pretty small ones, three letters, by. We have 10 letters, 16. What's the average of this? Let's figure out how do we get the average of this length. So if we just do average this, that is gonna be cool, 14, not bad. Actually, that's a lot higher than I expected, but I do wanna round this down to 2 places. Yeah, 2 places is fine. Maybe 1 place is better. 14.6, probably better there. And now I'm going to do it for the exact same thing, the secondary. So the secondary call to action is a little bit longer than the first one. Cool. But hey, there's also this subhead and H1. So let's get those as well. And let's just get the action, the length. So H1 length, subhead length. And again, we can just copy paste this here. And now we have the average. So 35 characters for the H1 length, 111 for the subhead length. Cool. That's pretty good data, right? I mean, I have no analysis over this. I don't understand what this might mean, but it is a little bit bigger than I thought this call to action would be shorter. But 14, there's a lot of 13 links. So this one is Surface Pro 9. What's just around the 16? Start free trial. That's 20. Sign up, it's free. Every time there's free, there's a lot of frees here. Oh, and there's a lot of get started. So that was, I think, something that Josh noticed is, that get started is sort of the most common here. But let's look at unique data. I like the unique function, and I want to create a equals unique. Why I'm doing this is E6, actually. I just want E6. The unique ones, and now we're going to use count if. We're going to use the range, this range. Criterion is going to be this unique. I don't know why there's a blank one, but it's okay. So now here's the number of each one. But what's interesting about this is that some include others, like start free trial includes free trial. Get started free has the word started. Get started, it's free is unique. Something we can do to fix this is sort of add another line here of like, does it include the word free? Does it include get started? We could do deeper analysis if we take our time to sort of add more context to each one of these. So we can do something like this. Free equals find, search for free. Text to search is going to be this primary one. It's not going to find it. It's going to have a value, could not find it. So actually, let's see what happens if there is free. This one, it's going to give us a number. Okay, so if value error, put a 0. And if this is greater than 0, value if it's true, let's put a 1 or yes. And if it's false, nothing. And so we have a bunch of yeses here. But now we have a way to count how many are free. So if does it include the word free? So count, actually, yes, count if in 6 to n, criterion, yes. And now we have 12. 12 of these. And so how many are there? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get a count over here. Count all A. So we have 45, and 12 of them have free. So let's actually change this number. I don't think 12 is a really good number. I think if we divide it by count all, A6 to A, and change this to a percentage, I think that's better. 26% of them have the word free in their primary call to action. Pretty cool, right? Now we have some interesting information. Let's do that as well for sign up. Start, and let's see if all we need to do is take the same one and copy it over here, and instead of free, do sign. Center this. What I do realize is actually we need a lower E6. That's because the capital numbers give us, so it's actually 31% have the word free, and now we did sign, and let's do this with start as well. We added the lower around E6, so now any start will get us that number, and what we're going to do, all we have to do here is hold A with this $sign, and now we can copy paste this. So now almost 9% have the word sign. Free is 31%, but start is definitely 40%, definitely the most, definitely. Or get. Let's do this. And now, actually, I just realized another thing we can do. If we want to look for more singular words, instead of using free here, we can just use this and two. But what we'll need to do is hold the 2, okay? And hold, or not the 6, but the E there. Okay, now we can take this, copy it, and paste it, and we'll still get the same numbers. Perfect. So it's the same, but now we can take a whole column, move it over, and use any word here, get. And now we get the information so quickly, right? Take this whole column, copy it over. Instead of get, let's use buy. 4% use buy. Wow. Start free trial. Thought free would be a lot more, actually, funny enough. 31% is a lot. Now I'm looking at 40% is more. Start free trial, get started. Not much buys. Yeah, try? Maybe try as well. Now we can copy this, add try, 4.4%. Sweet. That's some cool information, right? That we can choose any word there and get analysis of it. Let's see also, I want to see in this subhead, how many times is there a period? So what we're going to do is we'll put a dot here. Actually, let's copy this whole thing, put a dot here. And instead of looking at TE6, I think we want to look at the subhead. D6. Does it have at least one period? 77 points. Wow. Most of them have a period. Now let's see how many periods, right? Okay, so we wanted to count the number of periods in this subhead. But what ended up happening is I actually used my Google Sheets formula generator here to count the number of periods in a cell, and it told me count all split. And it worked, sort of, but it has a huge problem where if there is none, it'll always have one. So we have this one here. There is nothing. There is one here. Here there is none, and it is number 1. So even if there's 1 or 0, it'll have 1. So what we need to do is if find, we're going to search for a period. Text to search for is going to be the subhead. And if, so this will either be an error, right? Let's see actually what happens if we just do find. Find it in number 9. And yeah, we're going to get some value of error. We're also going to get 46. Is that actually true? Let's double check in the subhead. Oh, that's very long. Yeah, that is true. And that is true that there is no value there. So if it's an error, so if error, we're going to put 0. Actually, we're going to put no. If we do find it, -1. Actually, we'll do -1 because if this is greater than 0, value if it's true is going to be the count all, the same one we had here, count all split. Need to take away that. Don't need A1, we need D6. And if it's false, we'll put nothing. Okay, so now where there is no period at all, we have actually a blank or 0. So we have a count, period, count, and we can take an average of that, 6 to you. Let's round this as well to one place, 1.7 period. So on average, there is more than one thing. So there's either one or more periods. Nice. So that's some cool information that we can add context to this data of, here's a bunch of sites. If we say, okay, these are the top 50 sites on planet Earth, right? And we keep adding, maybe we do the next 100 or the next 200 or the next 500. We can lock in this information and then create a new data set of the top 500. And now we can sort of look at like, okay, here's top 50 versus top 500 numbers. And I think there's some interesting numbers here of, what categories can you look at this information? Can you look at indie hacker sites? So go to indie hackers, scrape sort of the top 50 sites, their H1 subhead, primary CTA, secondary CTA, and compare it to these top 50 sites in the world, right? What are the differences? Are they shorter? Primary call to actions? Are they longer? Do they even have any secondary call to actions? Do they have, what kind of subhead do they have? What kind of H1 is it? Is it a very long H1? Is it a much longer H1 than 35 character average here? Or is it shorter? Are people saying more here than they are in indie hacker world, right? I think that would be very interesting to see. So yeah, thank you, Josh, for putting this information together. I hope this has been helpful. I might add some more, instead of allowing sort of the grid lines here, I would probably, one last thing I would do is add the shade of purple as an alternating rows, and maybe a very, very light purple. Let's go make a custom one. Just a shade lighter there. Take all this, and now we're going to copy paste the format only. That might look a lot nicer. Same here, paste format only. Maybe flip this around to some extent. Oh, I can't move it around, but it's okay. We might not want to freeze that at all. But yeah, there's 45 products. We got their lengths. We got the percentage when they have some call to action. Like we found out that 40% have the word start. That's pretty cool. We found out that there's at least one or more, very on average two periods in their subhead, H1 or subhead. We added this copy sheet link. We made it sort of nice. We added a about page. We added this unique. We can add more data here to look for more common things. We can add more qualitative data. I think this is really cool. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this. Bye.